if people are all talking about, say, a movie that just came out or a book that they've all read, and or music or bands that they have listened to, and you are there, and you have not seen the movie, or you've not read the book, or whatever it is they're talking about, you don't have any experience with it, but you feel like you're going to be a social outcast if you don't say anything. And so you just kind of pretend and say, oh yeah, that was great. People do this all the time. Here's an example of this. I remember hearing a story about a freshman philosophy student at Harvard. And that particular student was meeting the other freshman philosophy majors. Philosophy majors start to study philosophy because and I often want to feel like they have all the knowledge, right? They don't want to feel like there are things they don't know, which, of course, the more you study philosophy, you realize that's kind of the whole point is, as Socrates said something about this, admitting you don't know something is kind of the beginning of knowledge, admitting that there's so much that you don't know. But when people first start studying philosophy in particular, they all want to sound impressive because philosophy is difficult. It's an impressive subject. Nobody wants to feel like they haven't read books. So there was this philosophy student at Harvard who was a freshman who happened to notice the way that a lot of the philosophy majors talked, and he thought it would be funny to make up a philosopher and bring up that philosopher in front of the other students. And these other students that he was with, when he brought up this name of a philosopher that didn't exist, all acted like they had actually read it, and then eventually told them he just made the person up. and that just kind of illustrates the point, though, that we all do this in our different social situations, right? We all want to feel like we fit in, but people respect far more than that, just honesty. If you say, I haven't seen that movie yet, why don't you tell me about it? People tend to like that a lot more, because if people are really excited about a movie they've just seen and you ask about the movie, they probably enjoy talking about it and they're probably happy to tell you about it. And then maybe you could say, maybe I'll see the movie. Why don't we go see a movie together? If they want to see it again, I don't know. But you're going to end up having, a far worse situation most of the time when you're pretending, because most of the time people can kind of tell when you're being inauthentic. So it doesn't work anyway. And people tend to respect honesty, even if you haven't seen or read the thing that everybody else is talking about. So the pressure is often much more from your end, feeling the pressure, than it is from those people who probably don't really care whether you've seen it or not. It just happens to be the thing that they're talking about.